It's time for your summer reading list, because there's no time like now to start denying the fact that summer is quickly slipping away and some people will be in school up to a week from now? Or 2 weeks? Oh, the worst. Poor babies. Poor sweet babies. Coming from the worst chair designed by man. So this video is for you to deny reality with me by starting your summer reading now, or continuing it with a couple more books. I'm going to start with my current reading, and that's going to transition into my summer recommendations. So, least flashy of all, I'm reading ebooks, because that's how you really show off. I'm reading Peter Coffin's book, Personal Reality and You, and connected to that, I'm reading Society of the Spectral, because a lot of Peter Coffin's book is based off Society of the Spectacle. But Society of the Spectacle is not light reading, and 2 is a deconstruction of society and reality and media and how we interact with it. So there aren't a lot of positive things. And in Personal Reality and You, Peter Coffin tries to take some practical advice, practical answers to the deconstructions of our society and our reality and our behavior. And it's really good, and all of his YouTube videos are pretty much based off what he says in the book. They're connected, and I look forward to the upcoming 2 sequels that he thinks he'll write. Yeah, it seems neat. On the not serious, depressing, philosophical part of my summer reading, I'm actually reading Arthur C. Clarke's The Songs of Distant Earth. It's a hard sci-fi book. In it, Earth is destroyed when our sun goes supernova, and in a desperate attempt to stay alive, we make several colonizing ships. Ones that are unmanned or are controlled by drones and use frozen fetuses to then populate and make a colony. And so the robots have to educate the people in it, and that's hundreds of years. Like, there's like a couple thousand years where the Earth is alive to do stuff. It's neat. The time spans of the history of this book are so long, it's like longer than our modern history, where they have to go like, oh yeah, 1,000 years ago we started on this planet? Like, 1,000 years ago, it's medieval. It's pre-exploring, it's nuts. Just when you think about the time span and the kind of technological dreams that this goes into. So there's a colony, but that colony's deep space communication disk was damaged, so everyone thought that colony just died and was wiped out. Right? Too bad. So Earth sends its last ship, was actually a manned ship with living people doing the sleep hibernation thing, and they managed to go to the planet, but now there's the ship that's full of people, and there's already a colony of people there. Like, oh, what do you do when you're... Oh no, what should we do when we try to colonize somewhere where there's already someone living? Like, oh. And the starship is called the Magellan, so that's laying heavy into themes here. And that's supposed to be the touch of the book. They say that they're just there for water. They've adjusted the plan, like, oh, we just need this water shield so that we can move through space. And you live in an ocean planet, so we're going to borrow some of your water, but, that's, what's going to happen with the tension. Arthur C. Clarke is the author that wrote Space Odyssey and does some hard sci-fi. That's a movie. That's an older movie. I'm pretty sure my audience knows what Space Odyssey 2001 and 2010 are, right? Space Odyssey. Don't you? There's some overlap there. It's Arthur C. Clarke. It's good. But also breaks into my reading recommendation rules for summer in that it has a tropical, summery aesthetic. This is probably the worst way to share this. Everyone's in those sweet 70s digs with headbands and loose back dresses. Oh, it's awesome. Like, I want to wear that dress. Oh, that looks... all my back out there. And none of my front. That's the dream. My summer reading recommendations. 1, the book will be about summer, or the book will be fun and colorful and full of energy like summer, or it will be about being in terrible heat. I don't know. There's obviously one exception for that rule, which is why I included it. So my first recommendation is J.D. Salinger's 9 Stories, and the main story in here is Banana Fish, which is probably the one that I like the most, and I've already done 2 videos on. but both of which are now privated because they're old and crappy and short, but both of which are now on my live stream that I did recently called Look at the Handsome Boy. So I'll talk about it there. It has nothing to do with the anime or the card game. I'm pretty sure there's a card game. It's a short story about people at a resort and a man talking to a little girl and him going through his trauma. And you can find out more in my video, or you could read it. It's not a YouTube reading list without a John Green book, and I've chosen An Abundance of Catherines for this one. At me, bro. It's one of the less embarrassing John Green books, I feel, early John Green. It's still in the white man phase. So it's about a white man who's graduated high school, and he goes to Alabama with his friend on a vacation because they're going to drive across America, but they stop. They stop in Alabama. That happens a lot to traveling things, as I've said in other videos. Man, I'm just self-referencing all over the place. And there he meets a girl who isn't Catherine and has shenanigans and adventures and learns more about himself, but also the plight of middle America. And it touches on experiencing summer like in a place that's not ideal, which is like most of America, just like in the middle of nowhere where there are no beaches, there are no rivers. There's heat and there's sweating and there's just interacting with people, and that's where the book shines. Though you don't really get away from John Green's early thing of everyone has a quirk, every character has a quirk of, you know, things they just really like to keep track of for no reason. That matches John Green's encyclopedic obsession of the time. Oh, John Green. Don't at me, bro. The next one is Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim's by Brian Lee O'Malley, by the way, future tip. The comic series that was based off the movie. It's definitely at your local library and possibly in color if you don't want to go out and try to buy it or if it isn't stocked anymore. But Scott Pilgrim is just a classic story of young adults and dealing with how when you get to a certain age of young adult, part of a growing or budding relationship is dealing with your partner's emotional baggage, and that is so much what these books are about. Light on the euphemism, but Ramona's 7 evil exes, and Scott has to defeat them in combat, but one by one he learns about her past, and you have to deal with that. Like I haven't had like a cool girlfriend, but some people know when they try to date someone that's like really cool, they have to then deal with like all of the drummers and bass players and, you know, cool people that they know, like, oh, this engineer guy, like, oh, that's a lot to get over for some people, and this book explores that wonderfully. I only got it for the 6th book, but there's a beautiful color edition of everyone, and it's just, oh god, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The themes resound a lot better, and you get a lot more character in the novels. You really get to work a lot more through the character. You really get to work through a lot more of the character's past and detail on all the things that are happening, and it's just a gorgeous book, and there are recipes in it, and it's just fun. It's a fun summer read, all 6 of them. Of course, you're not really reading a book unless you're going through someone's emotional trauma, right? That's fun. That's why we read. That is why. The least about summer, it's Gone Girl. I have the movie edition because it was the cheapest at the time. If you saw the movie, the book is a similar but a little bit different beast with a little bit darker ending, if you can believe that. Yes, my dark summer reading, but is very much so attacked to, it's about being in Mississippi, it's hot, it's about relationships and what we do to people. This isn't where Scott and Ramona are going. Hopefully. Jeez. Like, up and down with this relationship thing. This is about the emotional scars that we give each other being in a relationship. All of Gillian Flynn's books, they have this theme of women can be evil or mediocre too, and this woman is kind of evil, and it's kind of great, and it's dark, and it's shocking, and it's trashy, and it's perfect for summer reading, especially if it's light or on a Kindle. Alright, and my last book is also based on a movie. I think I've done a horrible thing tying all my book recommendations to movies. But this is The Rum Diary. It's by Hunter S. Thompson. Before he started reporting loose adaptations of his life for news, he did it for novels. And this is about him. This is loosely... this is a loosely veiled story about him living in Puerto Rico and the capitalistic colonization kind of exploitation of the people in Puerto Rico and the corruption that's down there. with all of his writing, because he does the thing where it has a sad ending. Do I need one? It has the sad ending so you can change things. It doesn't have a satisfying ending. Like, the bad guys win in this one, and it's kind of great. It is based off the movie with the actor that is not to be cast, but they're both good. Like, the movie's pretty good. The novel's pretty good. It didn't really get famous until he started writing other things, but no, it's pretty fantastic and has great cover that I always think about. Like this picture of Hunter S. Thompson is what I think of when I think about summer. Like sitting in shorts, writing on a pad, drinking some water on a beach. This is like peak summer for me. That's it. Like working in the harsh sunlight. Peak summer. Just a quick video, so then I can edit this together as quickly as possible, and then I can go out and enjoy summer, because I do want to get to reading Arthur C. Clarke and play some Pokemon Go and maybe drink a mimosa, but not before driving. So yeah, happy reading. I love you. Before I go, thanks for watching. I have a Patreon where you can go on and recommend books for me to read. You can also keep up with all my writing and the videos that I put out and any progress that I make while publishing. I'll share stories, I share my works in progress, I share my junk folder, I write you poems. It's real neat. Leave a comment down below what your summer reading is and how much you are going to be denying the fact that summer is dying. Just, you can live in denial with me. I'm in denial. I am in a perpetual summer mood. I try. Like the video to make the world... Subscribe? Subscribe is another thing people should do if you don't. Subscribe. Hey, let's make a summer reading list at the end of summer next to our litter box. Just, then I'm disguised it. It's just there.